Designing menus your team can actually execute. The menu framework. Every chef wants to create a menu that wows, full of flavor, finesse, originality. But the real test isn't what's printed, it's what gets executed. The most successful menus that I've ever written weren't the most creative. They were the ones that my team could execute predictably, service after service. A clear strategy made that possible. Now, looking back, at the time I would have called it preparation, but the more I think about it and reflect, there was a clear method behind my madness, and that helped me tremendously. In this video, I'm going to share my menu framework with you, which is a grounded approach to drafting menus based on what your team can actually deliver, while at the same time stretching their skill set. So, if you've ever launched a new menu and found yourself covering every station just to hold it together, or are still needing to demo dishes more than a week after launching, this could be your fix. The menu framework gave me a reliable way to build menus that the team could execute by leveraging the use of craft skills. And I remember one of the first times I started this approach, it was a little bit after a catastrophic menu launch. My fault entirely. We were doing a seasonal menu transition in the sports house at the Westchester. I swore to myself I would never do that to myself or to my team again. I was an absolutely stressed out ass, for lack of a better way to describe it. And this was almost 15 years ago, looking back. Eventually, I had to realize that I had no business writing a menu without considering my team's talent, their existing workload, or their food knowledge. So the next change was very different. The feel in the kitchen was different. The cooks were excited and not beaten down, and even feeling comfortable offering suggestions to improve flow and plating. That's when I knew that we had something more than just a menu. We had the start to a structure that aligned vision with execution. Now, fast forward 15 years, every time I help a chef implement this framework, they've gotten closer to being that strategic leader who commands their kitchen with clarity, consistency, and craft. And if you want that, click the link below and let's talk about how I support executive chefs in integrating structure that works. Now let's get into this. This menu framework is one of the 4 elements that I find are critical when it comes to drafting menus. Menu is the way I remember this process. M-E-N-U. M. Map the team mastery. Start with their ability, not your ambition. Before the brainstorming, ask a question. What can we execute perfectly 10 out of 10 times right now? Not if this or if that, right now. You can definitely think about your team and recognize some of their strengths and some of their weaknesses. But you can also make this a lot more fact-based by running skill audits, tastings, execution tests. I prefer to pay really close attention to knife work, timing, and station readiness. These are 3 very key predictors for someone's ability to execute menu items efficiently and their readiness to accept new tasks. And to round that all out, I like to use production feedback, pre-shift reviews, and in doing so, I identify where my team is at. See, I like to think about designing with reality, not just my head. And that being said, what I'm really looking to do is identify exactly where in the world my team is at from a skills standpoint so I can build my menu with that block first. Next, I'm going to evaluate their fundamental executions. Now, fundamentally, what does the team already do well? Can they braise beautifully? Do they roast properly? Can they execute a pan sauce? The more fundamental skill that my team possesses, the more of a palette I have to paint with. The less, the more I need to train. The more I need to develop those skills, the more I need to lean into the culinary backbone and train my team accordingly. Do the sauces that they make hold, or are the mashed potatoes smooth, buttery, and delicious? Is everything nice? Because to me, fundamentally great food is far better than a flash in a pan or a garnish that doesn't carry bad food. And I like to draft dishes that lean into known techniques. At the end of the day, food has to be tasty first. And I want to make sure that I can deliver that. Fundamentals give me a roadmap to do that. And when I utilize fundamentals to back up my decisions to put something on the menu, they're already scalable within the kitchen. When I lean into the talents that exist, then I can also leverage someone else's ability to train someone else on the team. My goal is to build on the known and elevate slowly with discipline. Mediocre dishes with flash won't outperform simple food made with flawless fundamentals. Anybody paying for a meal is going to tell you that. Next, we need to narrow the scope of ambition. And this is as true for anybody that I've ever met. Younger me, this was a huge problem. We need to limit the creative impulse until the team can match it. And we can do that by making sure that we're cross-utilizing offcuts and trimmings first, leaning into those fundamentals that we talked about, and avoid more than a small few stretch items. What's a stretch item? A stretch item is anything that's not actually R&D'd or vetted through the team, or something that you're introducing for the first time, a new concept to the menu. So I really try and minimize that. I think it's really important to eliminate anything that the average team member can't manage under pressure. If there's only one person on the team that can execute it, you're the only backup for it. To me, that is building in trouble from the start. So steer clear of dishes that look great on paper but fall apart on Play-Doh, especially the things that fall apart when you're not standing behind somebody. Narrowing the scope of what needs to be done and what's being introduced dramatically increases your odds of success in launching and in training and in executing a new menu. And then you upgrade as you train. Now, here's where we grow strategically, because I'm a firm believer that you can't get to excellent without being consistently and predictably good. So I like to design my menu to be a development plan, not just a list of offerings or things that I want to do through the team. That's part of it. But again, this is all being built on top of what the team can already do that my guests want. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do three things, and we're going to do them pretty methodically. We're going to first rotate and stretch dishes and techniques that strategically push the team members, making little adjustments to a starch, making small technical adjustments in the way that we execute, incorporating different flavors through the food that we're executing. Then I'm going to use specials that can be modified from simple to spectacular for targeted growth. I want to write it simply, and I'm going to modify it for complexity as appropriate. Things that can grow in complexity progressively. And then I'm going to leverage my employee life cycle and my training ladder and make sure that I'm growing people in a consistent direction to help develop them in their career, to help improve offerings in the program. At the end of the day, I truly believe that menus shouldn't be static, because menus aren't meant to be static. They're a tool to train, evaluate, and evolve the team. Sit with the leaders or chat with the leaders in the kitchen and ask a few questions. 1, where are we struggling in execution? 2, what keeps getting sent back or comped? 3, which team members are ready for more? If you do this each menu cycle, your team, your leadership, and your menus are going to evolve simultaneously. Now, this menu development isn't just a theory. It fits into a much bigger picture of structure and all of those pieces that I talk about beyond the food. When it comes to strategy and systems, the menu becomes part of the operational blueprint. When it comes to training, each item in the menu builds team skills. When it comes to resourcefulness, through the menu, we can align with the team's available time, talent, and tools. When it comes to consistency, we can make sure that the menu is drafted with repeatable execution in mind. Technique is shown in every facet of the menu. Every dish reinforces fundamentals. When it comes to understanding, we make sure that the menu is designed for clarity at every level of the brigade. In terms of resilience, a well-written menu prevents burnout by staying grounded in what's achievable in the team and allows you a little bit more counterbalance in your life as well, so that you don't have to be there every minute of every service. And when it comes to implementing all of these pieces through execution, this is going to be a menu that your team can deliver with pride. The menu framework works because it grounds creativity with clarity. And it gives you the power to build menus that grow with your team, not break them down. And that's the point. A great menu doesn't just show what you can cook, it shows how well you lead, shows how well your team can cook your food. When your team can execute with confidence, creativity inevitably follows. And when the menu becomes part of your system, not just your identity, that's when you move from managing plates to building a legacy. Don't just ask what looks good on the plate, ask what your team can own. and where they're ready to stretch. Now, if this framework makes sense to you and you're ready to build structure into your culinary program, click the link below and schedule a call with me, because this is what I do every day with executive chefs like you. In the end, I've learned that excellence in execution is never accidental. It's the result of a well-mapped plan grounded in reality, designed for growth. If this video helped you reframe your menu process, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe for more. If you'd like to learn more about structure and how it cures the chaos, click this video link here. In the meantime, thank you very much for your time and for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.